Hey Pioneers, video announcement here to help you figure out exactly what you need to do for your 20% project. And specifically we're going to introduce the 3 phases of this project. Remember, it's going to be a year-long project, and so you really want to be spending time choosing things that you're going to be excited and passionate about. So we're going to talk about the 3 phases. We're going to be introducing Phase 1 Part A, and that's going to be due before you head out on fall break. And then finally a quick reminder of how you can sign up for text announcements. So let's go ahead and introduce our 3 phases of the project. So in your class, you should have a 20% writing portfolio section. Once you open the section up, you will find a Google Project folder, and I'm going to be consistently adding to this folder, and you will have access to all the documents within it. And you're going to want to go ahead and look at the gist. So the gist is going to be really a preview and an overview of what you need to be expecting for this project and what each phase is going to be covering. So I'm not going to read this to you in the video, but I am going to cover the important things that you should be focusing on. So we're really talking about and focusing on a long-term project and really what kind of skills you need to have and be developing to find success in a long-term project. If you're like me, you're a procrastinator, and we're really going to focus on not procrastinating, and we're going to be doing that through the 3 phases. So the first phase, mostly going to be planning, research, and your initial execution. There'll be 50 points that you can earn in this phase for semester 1, and then 50 points you can earn at the beginning of semester 2, quarter 3. Phase 1 will be going from November to January. Phase 2, January to March, this is going to be the main production phase, right? You're going to be working, revising, failing, succeeding, problem solving, and this phase is going to be taking place in kind of the quarter 3, kind of moving into quarter 4, and there are 100 points up for grabs in this phase. The final phase is going to be from March to May. It's going to be your revision, your polishing, your peer review, and hopefully some publication, and that's going to be worth 150 points. You will be presenting some of your project to your classmates and probably to other people in the school, so we want to be kind of thinking of that plan long term as well. You know that you have many ways into this project, and the most important thing is that you are picking something that's going to be as passionate and exciting for you as possible, right? We really want to focus on moving outside the 4 walls of the classroom and moving into the internet, you know, the worldwide connections that we can make, the community connections we can make, and finding a place that we can support those things. So the whole class goal for every student is that you're going to have a polished 20% project that meets your individual learning targets and standards, and that's ready to present by May. The other thing I want you really focusing on is exploring a passion and generating an individual experience within a collaborative community. So even though everyone's doing their own separate things, you're still a part of a community. We'll still find people for you to work and collaborate and share ideas with, and share those experiences with. The most important part of this project and the way that you will succeed is that you are an active participant and that you're being a leader in your project. Most of you have gone ahead and already turned in your learning standards, and you've gotten feedback from me. If you have not met your first benchmark, you need to go back and do that. If you're not sure how to do that, you'll want to revisit, and I'm back in our folder, the breakdown of the benchmark, and that was from week 11, and there's very explicit instructions for how to meet that deadline. So if you don't have your feedback that kind of gave you the green light for moving on, head back there before you jump into phase 1. Take some time to finish reading the gist, and know kind of what to be expecting and what's coming your way as far as the 3 phases. If you have any questions at all about your project, your standards, or about what's due, always just ask. So that's the gist handout in the folder currently. The other really important handout in here right now is the phase 1 document that kind of covers what's due and what assignments are coming your way for phase 1. So phase 1 is all about big picture planning and research. So the first thing that you're going to worry about in here is this is an assignment sheet. First and foremost, assignment sheets are going to be linked to this document, linked for your 20% project, and it's always going to be in this place. So you can never lose it, you can never misplace it. You're welcome to make a copy of this and bring it into your own docs and add notes. In fact, that's probably what I would do. But let me cover what's going to be happening on the 2 things that are due and coming your way. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go into your Google Docs and you need to create a Google folder with your last name and the 20% project. That's step 1. Anything you make for 20% project, planning documents, assignments, research, must be in this folder. We want to be very organized and very vigilant. That's obviously a really important skill when you're having long-term big projects. So we're going to be working with that folder. That's the first thing you're going to do. Next, here comes phase 1, part A. This is what's going to be due before you head off into the next pieces. So part A is going to be finding similar genre projects, mentors in the field that you're actually pursuing. Let me give you an example of what that might look like. I have a student who is creating a travel blog. They probably want to look at other travel blogs for people who are successful, what kind of writing they're doing, what kind of images are on their blogs, what their voice sounds like on the blog, who their audience is. And then I want that student to find maybe a failed project. So check this out. One of your mentor texts must be a failed project of some kind that you find. And you're going to decide what a failed project is and what we can learn from failed projects. So a little bit more of a brief overview here. Let's actually look at the assignment sheet. Again, everything you're going to need is going to be linked to in this folder and in these handouts. So for Phase 1 Part A, you're actually going to be making a copy of this document. Make sure you add a heading to it, and using this to fill out and examine your mentor texts. Again, you're probably going to find and look at a lot more than just 5 mentor texts as you're kind of doing some research and looking through the internet. But I want you to focus on 3 or 5 for this purpose. One of those 3 or 5 must be a failed example. So that's all what's here. You're going to have your kind of chart here for your reflection and analysis, and then the reflection response here at the bottom. You will need to copy and paste these guys for how many texts you're using. So I'll go ahead and put 2 in there, 2 or 3, and then if you have 4 or 5, just making a copy so that you can type in them. You'll have to make copies of all this, but then you don't have to make anything, so that's pretty sweet. So you'll want to make sure that you're reading closely on all your assignments, and if you have any questions, of course, please let me know. And if you're not sure if something is counted as a mentor text, just contact me. You might find a real life mentor that you can talk to and kind of learn some things from. Maybe it's a physical book, maybe you make a trip to the library. It might be a YouTube channel, it could be a blog, a website, a writer that you follow. It doesn't matter. The point here is that you're finding someone that you can examine and look at as a mentor text and kind of see that lens through your own project. You'll see another brief overview of Part B and Part C, but we're not there yet. But you can start thinking about it. You'll notice that there's not a link to an assignment sheet yet. So hang tight on those guys. And notice that we're still in this Phase 1 planning phase. We're not actually even into the meat of your project. You're not really creating anything yet. So make sure that you're really focusing on good time management and not letting an interesting 20% project get in the way of your other important time and tasks. All right, so what we covered was, if we go back to our little POD here, we went over kind of the 3 phases, Phase 1, 2, and 3. We looked at Phase 1, Part A, and what's due before you leave, and what's due before fall break. Let me make sure you saw where to turn this in, right? Phase 1 tasks are all going to be turned in here, and you'll just drop your Google Doc into the Dropbox so I can get to it and leave your comments. Please make sure that your link is an invitation to edit. I will be very upset if I cannot leave you comments. All right, final announcement. If you are a US Lit and Comp student, and feel free to click pause on the video here, make sure that you have signed up for our class reminders. I do send out text announcements and reminders, just kind of whole class periodically. So what you'll do with your phone is text 81010 with the message at USLitCo, and it will sign you up for our class. If you're a world literature student, you'll text 81010 with a message of at 6B2K, and it will tell you that you're signing up for those text announcements. All right, Pioneers, let me know what questions you have before you take off, or if you get going and you're a little bit confused, just let me know. And remember, pick something that you're going to be passionate and you want to keep with the whole year. Have a wonderful rest of your day.